do you believe now that men cheat the same way as women with emotions and payback?
These new guys,
The new guys?
Like the newer generation.
The younger, see?
The younger generation, because they are more emotional now. They're more in tune with their feelings.
Yes.
Back in the day, most men are they cheat because of physicality. So, he don't have to have no emotional connection with a woman to look at her like what he see and cheat with her. Now, most women, when we cheat, it's emotional. He not treating me this way, he not doing this and that. And so a lot of times when we cheat, we get ourselves back into an emotional affair with another person. It's hard for us to dip in and dip out like a man. A man can dip in and dip out. But now these 2021 women, we can dip in and dip out. It's a difference.
I think it's the same, speaking from a man.
Yeah.
We cheat for the same reasons too. You might not be sensitive enough to me. You might never be the leader at times, or
you might feel lonely.
Yeah, I may feel lonely. You for the same reason y'all may cheat. It's an emotional attachment sometimes as well, just like a woman. Okay. Sometimes we can cheat unemotionally, because we're already unemotional beings as it is. Right. So we don't have to have an emotional attachment to every relationship we make. So that's just innate in our nature. So I think it's some of the same reasons,
I don't
but I do.
Your daddy, Ava.
I do. Because I've had people where if you want me to mom, like, it's never been, or I'm sad. I'm like, oh.
Bye. Thank you.
But that's me, because that's all I see. I see my daddy have different girlfriends, and and when she ain't that, okay, we'll move on to the next. That's what I've seen.
So
I've been that way.
So because a man cheats, does he mean he doesn't love you?
No. Because I cheat on you and still want you. Just because I do that don't mean I don't love and want to be with you.
No, is that coming from a woman's perspective?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think from any perspective at this point. Like, just because a person cheats don't mean that they don't love you. They may be cheating because they're trying to get your attention on some stuff. You know what I mean? Sometimes people do some strange things for whatever reasons. But so, no, it don't necessarily mean I don't want you.
Sometimes people cheating, they got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Now, who handled?
Then they just smell good.
Nah, for real. For men too.
Sometimes you catch off guard.
Yeah, it just.
Like you even trying to do it.
The lighting was right on that thing.
Oh,
she hidden. I had to have that.
Everything is a choice, and you know it.
Yeah.
You know it, and that scares me personally because I'm raising a boy. You see what I'm saying? I'm raising a boy. I don't want a woman walk by you smell and you want to do something automatically. Just because she smell you, it don't mean
that's reality.
But it also brings, once again, what if you do end up doing it one time, you slip up, you get somebody pregnant, but you still with someone. Now you hurting people in this process. And from that one decision you made that you did not have your choice to do, you still did.
Now you
so
gotta
I don't feel sorry for that. It's just no respect for that. It's a choice.
Now, who handles cheating better as far as the other side? So do
women handle better.
Women handle it. Now, may I ask why you believe women handle it better and men aren't able to take it the way?
Because we've seen our mothers,
But on the other side of it, why is it that you think that men don't tolerate cheating from their women, although they may be doing the same thing?
Oh, men!
Why is it?
We terrible at taking pain. Period. Once again, going back to emotion. That's an emotion. Being in pain is an emotion. We can't take any type of pain. We could not take having a child. We couldn't take that monthly thing that visit y'all. So it's just we just can't. So that's where it really be why we can't deal with it so much, because we just feel like we shouldn't be hurt. And it hurts us even harder.
To add on to that as well, because I've been down the same road before, is that I've been told that I deal with it really bad too, right? Like emotions in general. I cut myself off from things. I've been cheated on several times in my life, and every time that it has happened, I don't talk to that person. And it's like that. Whenever I found out, blocked, don't want to talk to you, took all my crap, walked out the door, never looked back. And that's the way that I psychologically deal with emotional stress. I cut myself off from things, which is not a healthy thing. But we ain't getting my problems. But I'm just saying,
Now, do you
that's what it is. You know, men, that is correct. We are less, I would say, emotional on certain things, and whenever it comes to pain, it's like some men, other than others. Like as a young man, I cut myself off from emotional pain because nowadays with social media and everything that's going on nowadays, it's so easy for people to try to tap into your mind and try to get you to react a certain way when it could be the smallest of things that that people try to do to set you off. For me, if something is doing something, like somebody's doing something that does slightly aggravate me or anything like that, I just cut you off because there's no need for it. Whenever I was whenever I was back in the day, whenever I was younger, whenever I got hurt, I just cut myself off from it because there's no need to have that type of negative, I would say, feedback within my life. I'm not gonna let that reverberate over and over and over again. I just cut it off. There's no
So
need
if
for
you
it.
cheat on somebody, do you do the same thing?
Oh, I don't cheat on people. I've never cheated on anybody in my life because there's no need for it. I
You
don't.
see how he hears like him. So that's why when you cheat on him, he just feel like how dare
You gotta leave because I wouldn't do it to you.
Because
Right.
the way that I see
That's
it
how
is this,
women
right?
always do.
So-
But you gotta figure out why a person cheating on you sometimes, though.
It should be a reason.
Because
A validated
all of
reason.
those, you don't know what you're doing in that relationship that causes everybody to cheat on you.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't know how to communicate in your
Uh-huh,
relationship.
uh-huh.
And so that's why people cheating on you, because you miscommunicate. You gotta figure it out. Now, I'm not saying stay,
Right.
but if everybody that you're with cheats on you, it's something about your
Yes.
personality that's leading everybody to cheat on you. You gotta find that out.
Not
You gotta
necessarily.
stay long enough to figure it out.
But
'Cause-
to a degree, I agree with that.
Right.
Because, as I said, like it's happened before. And every time it's happened, I reevaluate my own life choices. Because, yes, I did say that I cut them off, right? But there's always a breakdown to the situation, right? There's never like, oh, I did this and blah, 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 blah. No, there's an explanation as to why someone did something. And I am there for that. I listen to it because that is feedback that I can, take.
Right.
Exactly. To dictate how I
As
change
long
as
as
a
you
man.
taking that.
Everybody
that's what I'm saying.
grieve differently. That's
Yes.
once again, that's emotional. Some people may, like you said, they may sit there and say, "Well, what did I do wrong? What is it about me that's causing this course?" It's not always that. Listen, y'all, people change their minds all the time, men or women. It has nothing to do with neither one of us personally. People change their minds. So the thing is, everybody deal with the pain of the different. I feel like men, we rather just cut it off. And we'll we don't take that pain very well. We try to prevent it as much as possible. Versus I've noticed with women, some women, they take it with a grain of salt and they can move on. And some of y'all have a backup plan already. I don't think lots of men do that, because once we say we're gonna commit, that's what committing is. But I've learned over time, some women to keep that backup just in case. Because they don't want to deal with the pain too. I'm not gonna be hurt. I got this backup. Men, we ain't go. We don't have a backup. That's why we're so hurt. We're like, oh, see, I wasn't planning on this, or I was all in with you. You know what I mean?
Kind of like what you were saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I get my lick back. So, like, I feel what he's saying, but I get my lick back. You open that door for cheating, oh, baby. You open it, I'm going to walk through. So, I'm kind of like what Ava talking about. Like, I'm not just going to leave a relationship. You ain't hurt me that bad. Now, as long as you can take the fact that I done cheated on you back and we can shake back from that, then okay. Okay, I'm all right with that.
She is strong. Do you see that's a strength?
As long as you can take it. As long as you can take it. You open that door. As long as you can dish what you take, me and you are fine. You done, I'm done, we back together, okay? But if you gonna keep doing it, if this is a problem, you got a lust problem, you ain't just fall one time, then that's a different thing, because you got a lust problem now. But just your one time you failed, I failed too. You helped me. I was probably waiting on you to do it so I could do it, so we get it out of our system, and then we can come back together. I would probably do that now, but back then I did. I don't even know.
So let's talk about pregnancy for a minute. Men have zero control over pregnancy as far as whether you're deciding to have a child or not once fun time is over. And my question becomes now here is, just from a man's perspective, you can just kind of step out of your own shoes and just think as a man would think for a second. If men controlled pregnancy, would you be alive today? And furthermore, would your children even be alive?
No, I wouldn't be here.
You wouldn't be here?
My dad was not really around. I feel like he was forced to be around. Does that make sense? Because I grew up with people, well, my family grew up somewhat in the same neighborhood. His side, I knew very little of him. But he had to see me. We went to school, I went to school with my cousins, I go to their house. Sometimes he'll come down here and I don't even know he's here. But he would be forced to see me. So that's how we kind of bonded with that. But I feel like in the same sense, it's like, it's a... I don't want to.
No cry.
Y'all was in control. Y'all are in control. Cause you know what?
Say it
You
again?
choose to. A man chooses to not protect the situation.
Okay, so
Cause I'm saying, cause I could be I can protect myself as having birth control.
Yes.
You can protect yourself. You can control the situation if you have birth control. You know what I'm saying? So it takes both of us to do it. It's not one person can lead the. No, you can do what you need to do not to make it happen. I can do what I can do to not make it happen.
But I will say, wouldn't happen. It didn't happen already. You see what I'm saying? Now I have to discuss it with you because you're not ready, but you was ready when that was going on. So it's like I don't feel sorry for you in that particular. Because now it's up to me. Even if you don't want to be here, you decide to leave it alone. It's still up to me.
So is that in a way, just the whole mentality a bit selfish to say that, or let's just start from the beginning here. Is it wise to have a child with a man who doesn't want you in that kind of way, who you just don't know, you're just sleeping around with? Is that wise when it comes to, there is a potential, because there are reckless men out there, right? Most men that are sleeping around, they're not thinking, let me have a baby with you. That's the last thing on their mind, right? Of course. Therefore, if they could control pregnancy from the moment you say you're pregnant, would they allow you to go through with it?
Oh, okay, on that end of it. Okay, it's the damage is done, but if they were able to end it.
If they had control of the soldiers,
they would end it.
They would end it.
I wouldn't be here. My dad would have told me.
If a man can control not having a baby by something that somebody they didn't want to have a baby, they just want to have fun anyway, yeah, they would do that.
Would you say that most men, generally speaking, accidentally have children with women that they just...
I don't think it's no accident when you know what happens.
Well, I don't mean accident.
Lost in the sauce, but
I don't mean,
you know what happened.
I don't mean accident.
For me, I wasn't planning to have no baby. I don't think, like, especially like if you're a teenage parent, you don't just really particularly set out.
But you know the act brings that. So
but when you're a young person, you're not thinking about cognitively about
you really thinking about that because I'm thinking about
12-year-old mothers, 13-year-old mothers. They're not thinking about things like that. Their frontal lobes are not even developed.
We're talking about adults though, right? We're not talking about kids.
I'm just.
You know what I'm saying? Because kids they're innocent, they're immature. So yeah, of course they're not thinking. But I'm talking about somebody 20, 18 and up. Once you know what that act caused, why not protect? You have the opportunity, whether it's a man or a woman. Either I'm gonna go in here or I'm gonna take this plan B. Or you know what I'm saying? You know what the
having sex, you educated.
Right. You know what's gonna happen.
Well, I've got a question here. To your point here, it sounds as if maybe you're saying that men and women share equal responsibility when it comes to getting pregnant.
They do.
Oh, definitely.
Also, now I know a lot of people out there might disagree for the simple fact that a man, assuming there was no law, there was no child support, there was nothing that let's say we're living in the 1800s. A man could have 20 kids and it not affect him a bit, but that woman is there the whole time, pregnant, labor, raising the kid. So with that being said, do you think that it's wise for a woman to say, yes, he does share some of the responsibility in not getting me pregnant, but I'm the one who's going to have to take all the pain, the time, the this, the that. And at the end of the day, especially if we're not married, he can get up and leave and do it again. So do we really share 50-50 responsibility on pregnancy?
I don't think so.
No, me neither.
Because it still starts back at the act. Yeah, we can all get into it, but it still starts, you make that choice to go wrong. You make that choice. So you know what can happen. And if you run a red light, you know you can either get T-bone or you know you can get a ticket.
Right. But now one party is affected more than the other.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course.
So then when it comes to one being able and having that potential to bail from a responsibility, assuming that there's no law, right, that's in place to kind of force a man to, because let's just be honest, a lot of law has forced men to be in a certain position.
Exactly.
If it wasn't there, you have men.
No, we probably wouldn't even know you.
I think they said
know your name.
I think they said DMX has 17 kids. I'm gonna say they said.
I mean, but it still boils down to now I know we're talking about the men, but it still really boils down to the woman, right? So you are now some women are forced into a position like my granddaddy. He was a product of a rape. Right, so he was born not even knowing his dad because his mother was raped. You can't control that.
Agreed.
Yes.
Okay, so every situation when you see a young mother with a child doesn't necessarily mean she consented to a sexual act, right? And she made a sound decision to do so. But in just to say we're talking, it's still on the woman. At the end of the day, because again, you could be married to a man and he bail out on the children.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm a product of that. So you could be in a situation where the children were agreed upon in the beginning of the situation, but once he severed ties with you, because men can detach themselves from you and those children, and they can go on with their married lives, but you are still have to parent those babies. So it's still going to be, I don't give a man that much, I guess, because of my situation. He don't have that responsibility, whether he stay or whether he go. Those are my babies.
So
how about this? Because I told my husband, if we ever decide that we're going to split, I'm leaving with what I came with. I came with one child and one dog. The dog done ran off, and the other child is grown. This child that we have together, I'm going to leave her there.
Right. Right.
So
I'm not gonna raise another kid by myself. I'm not gonna do that. He knows that. I didn't have another child to do it by myself. I had it for us to do it. So if we're not doing it, I'm gonna leave it right here.
do you think it's fair now that a man has no say so on whether he becomes a father or not? So on both sides of it here, let's say for example you become pregnant, right? And your partner, he's not a father, and let's say he wants to be one, but you don't want the child. He has zero say so. On the other hand, if he says, I don't want a child, but you want one, he still has no say so. Do you, from looking at it on the other end, ladies, do you think that that's a fair situation for a man to where he has zero say so?
No, I don't think that's fair.
I don't think that's fair at all. I think a lot of times women make impromptu decisions based on temporary situations and emotions at that time, because you know maybe, and I've had friends to have abortions and they simply had abortions because they were still in love with this man over here, but missed and got pregnant by the man over there. And so that's not fair, you know. So no, I wouldn't say that that's fair to any man. He should have a right to express.
But at the end of the day,
You can say what you want, but I'm gonna do what I want.
Before he let loose to have this kid, he made a decision already. That you didn't say, well, nah, I ain't put this on. I don't know. But I'm gonna, but I don't need that. I'm just gonna put that. No, because we know that don't always work. But you made that decision that if she want to have, you gave her that authority to say, I'm gonna have it or I'm not gonna have it.
So
she
once
couldn't
again,
do it if you didn't give it to her.
So we don't have power is pretty much where we're going right back to. Because you're saying I gave her the authority, well, then that means I don't have anything
At all.
So then let me ask you this question to say,
Because if you didn't do it, she don't have no authority.
So if a woman has, let's say, a one night stand with a dude, or maybe they're chopping it up, talking to each other for 2 weeks, and they do, and he's a bum, whose fault is it then if she gets pregnant?
Hers.
So it's strictly on her.
It's both of them, because to me, that's what we need to promote. We need to stop promoting one night stands and flings and crap like that, and start promoting marriage and unity and bringing couples together. Because when you go off and do stuff like that, you get what you get.
Correct.
It's an impromptu decision that may have a long-term consequence. The baby, to me, is the good thing, right? Because you can end up with AIDS and stuff that can really end your life off of them impromptu decisions. So it's not whether it's on her or him, but let's stop promoting that, because I think that's what this generation is really sliding in on. It's okay to shack, it's okay to fling, it's okay to, and they get stuck with these consequences and don't know how to respond to them.
I say you see more gender reveals
than weddings.
Yeah. Yo, they happy, but this is the boyfriend. Nobody. That's not even like a thought. I mean, when I got pregnant, my friend's mother was like, "So y'all get married?" And I'm thinking, oh, I made a mistake. But she forced her daughter to get married, but her daughter done got divorced. I was like, no, Miss Bess, I made a mistake. I know what I done. Now I'm just have to live with this one, but no, I ain't married, man. This was enough right here. I'm in too deep already. So you my whole thing is you know your personnel before you even get to that point. You know somebody bummy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We have an intuition to know anything you got going on. If I focus in on you, I can figure it out. Just like you, I feel like men have a womanizer. That's their power, that they can convince us. Cause they can smooth us, cause we want to hear the good stuff. We want, oh, you cute, you fine, I love you. Know, we thrive off that. So it's like, oh, that attention. We'll go to running, but that you can use it to persuade us. You can use it to, if we're young, simple-minded, you can use that to take us down.
Manipulation.
So, but in the same sense, you can't do what we do. So, cause I can figure you out. You can't figure me out. You can just do what you can make me do what you want me to do, but you can't figure me out. But I can figure you out. So, I think that's just a gift that we have as a woman and y'all have as a man. So it's the way you use it.
Yeah. So now for the foundation of, I guess, safety of children, etc., is it the best idea that a woman be married and she makes sure she's married before having a child? Do you think that's a safer bet? I know it doesn't always work, but just as a guide, would it be a good idea for a woman to say, children can't come into the picture until I'm married? Period.
Yeah.
Well, I had to learn that because my first daughter, I wasn't married. Yeah. But my kids are 15 years apart. Like I said, we dated and all that time. No, we're not having no kids until I'm getting married. I done that already. That didn't work. So I'm gonna try what's supposed to work. What the Bible said. Well, this is what's supposed to work. Okay. So let's try this. Let me try this. I'm not going down that road. Oh, I messed up again. Okay, but now no. It took me one time to understand. Sometimes it doesn't take everybody that, but. Off the top, I never even shacked with a man. The only man I ever lived with was my husband and my dad.
Ladies, are you already a wife before you get the title?
Definitely. Oh my God! And that's why we feel so strong behind what we're saying, because we know what we're saying. Especially if you want to be a wife. There's some people just don't want to be married or have kids.
Well, what I mean by that is, a lot of women say, when they're dating, for example, I'm going to be this way. But when I get married, then you'll get this treatment. But how does he know that? How does he know that he's going to get... Shouldn't you show... Assuming it is a committed relationship where you guys do want to go forward, shouldn't you be showing him who you are right now as opposed to, I'll get married, then I'll give you more? Where I see a lot of women, they seem to say, I want to preserve just in case, and I'm not going to do certain things for you.
Back to the security thing.
Except for your husband, though. You don't pass yourself to everybody and think it's okay. You have to save something for you. Does that make sense? You don't do all that to any and everybody.
Yep. So now from the other end, which is great, but for the other end, you're in a relationship with a man, right? You don't know what his mind is. He might have an intentions on marrying you. But you're
holding back.
Exactly. And he's judging you on, he doesn't know you're holding back. So he sees that.
I'm gonna be me, correct? I'm not about to do wife things to a boyfriend. Right. I'm not be cleaning your house, paying your, helping you on bills. I'm not about to do all that. And you don't really want that. Yes. I don't truly know what do you don't. So I have to sit here and play the guessing game with you and see, do you really want it, or am I wasting my time when my husband is out there waiting on me and I gave everything I had to you?
How would you know? How would you know?
You would never know until don't. You're just like you're giving out candy and expect everybody to eat it, and I have a problem with it.
You buy a car without test driving it?
I have.
I've been there before too. I've done it too.
Me too.
Twice.
Yeah,
so is it generally speaking, is it a good idea to buy a vehicle without, especially if a car's got, especially if it's a used car?
Yeah.
You want to make sure it's certified, right?
Right.
But Mike, what I'm saying is,
Mhm.
I don't mind. Well, before when we was a boyfriend and girlfriend, I don't mind you come over. I'll come over and I cook a dinner for you. I don't mind it. But I'm not about to be scrubbing your baseboards, itching your back. Okay?
Right.
Doing your rugs like this. This labor
Mhm.
to a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But for my husband, almost definitely. Yes. I'm gonna
And the
say
thing is,
that.
women can tell too.
Yes.
They can tell what?
Women can tell when you meet a man.
Yeah.
You can tell just
If he gon'
yeah. You can tell the
If
the
he's
amount
serious,
of labor.
Yes.
You can tell
You
if
can
he's
tell.
serious.
Mm.
You can now men come with game, and then at a certain age, you can ignore it, and then again, you know when a man is coming with a little game. So when a man is serious, even though it may take a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month, after a month, no leopard can hide a spot. They are all revealed.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I
So
agree.
you
Time
know,
tells it all.
You, yeah,
I'm gonna
you
tell it
know,
all.
and like she said, I'm not getting ready to go. I'm not finna make sure you don't pay your car payment if I'm your girlfriend. I'm not getting ready to make sure your lights are on at your house.
But
And if I'm your girlfriend.
But I don't. But is that even a man that's qualified for marriage if you're even having to say these things?
It's not the wrong. See, in a woman role, a man. I was brought up. We was the ones to. The man come home, he work, he maybe bring the money home. His house clean, his food is ready, and your bills. He give you the money to go pay the bills. Do you see what I'm saying? That's
Sure.
how I was brought up.
Yeah,
I don't know
understood.
how everybody else is.
No, I wasn't brought up
I
like
was
that,
brought
but I can say this, just to offer for your perspective that when you're a boyfriend and girlfriend, that's a difference from when you become husband and wife. Because when you're husband and wife, you're family now.
Yes.
That's my family. That's a whole shift in the dynamic.
And the difference is just the title.
No, not the title, but it's the relationship. It has nothing to do with the title at this point.
Yeah.
Because when you are my husband, you have now entered into a familyhood with me. So now we're able to pay bills together. I got your back, you got my back.
Mm-hmm.
We are potentially building a family together. So now we have children. We are family now.
All rolling.
Yeah, so it's a difference. I'm not doing that for a boyfriend because as a boyfriend, you can dip out at any time. As a husband, you have obligation to me. As my husband, you have commitment to me. As my husband, it's a different level of respect and what you have to do and dedication you have in this home. So it's a difference.
It's a difference.
So
It's
so
a big
I ain't
difference.
rolling out
Because
the
me
red
dating my
carpet.
husband those 12 years, when he asked for my hand in marriage, I felt like a whole different person.
Right.
It was 12 years. We know each other. We done did it. Anything we could do in these 13 years of being married, we did past all that. But the moment that he asked me to be his wife, my daughter was like, Mom, after the fact, after we got married and months out, she was like, man, I just saw you so happy. You was different. Because I felt like I was in a different relationship. We never lived together. So when we got to live together, it was like, okay, we done been together 12 years. We done spent the night, couple of nights, but it ain't been a every day, all day, every night, month, this month. No. So it was a total different relationship for me. It was like, I mean, and I can remember I was like, man, I was super duper happy. Same guy though. But it was a whole different feel. It was because I know that now that we're moving, it was like this is the right way. This is where we were supposed to be going. We're leading down the right path now, where we were just going down this same road and everything was still looking. This looks so much different and bigger and brighter.
It becomes common. It becomes a common goal at that point. When I met my husband, this is just the truth. When I saw him, I knew. I didn't tell him I knew. But when he saw me, he told me he knew.
I felt that way with me.
Yeah, you know. You just know.
I had a boyfriend and had my husband, right before we just really got serious. And it was like a way of your option. Street guy with a degree. It was like, he's totally different than anything I've dealt with. So therefore, this must be for me. It made me look at him totally different because he was totally different than anybody that I've ever chose. Because all those were the ones I liked. That was my type. My husband wasn't my type.
Yeah, you don't marry your type. That's exactly. Don't marry your type.
But my type, how you doing? My type was what I needed.
So
Back to what I said. I need a man. So I know what I needed versus what I wanted.
do you want your man to put you before his purpose?
No. Because God got him here for his purpose. I shouldn't come before him because he can touch things and he's here to do things that don't have nothing to do.
We should agree that God gonna be first
period.
before we get
That's
together.
what I'm saying. But you're here for a purpose. You shouldn't put people for what you're truly here for. If so, that is self.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you to be like
long anyway.
Yeah.
A man can't. A person can't do that.
But don't women generally find it hard? They want the man's attention, even whether that be you pay too much attention to your mother, or his purpose is got too much of his attention, too much of his time. Isn't that naturally a struggle for a woman to want to kind of say, I know you're trying to build this business, but I want you to.
But if she don't understand that business is gonna help in the long run, and her kids.
It's enough for them no way.
Even if it's right. This is just an example. Let's say a man is doing business. I'm just going to use a rapper because I'm just using a rapper. He wants
terrible example. But go ahead. I got
that
you.
is a terrible example.
Yeah, it really is. But go ahead. We'll follow it.
Okay, yeah. He wants to be a rapper. So he's in the studio and he's rapping. She's at home like, honey, when are you coming home? Honey, when are you coming home? Babe, I'm working. Okay. If he's truly working, and if this is truly his purpose and his goal, and this is what he want to do, he's still gonna make time. Baby, you come down here with me. Yeah. He's still gonna make time for her. No, I don't care what it is, because it's a common goal, and his goal should be her goal. Not saying that he should put her first in front of what his purpose is, but it should be common. So they should be striving together.
I agree.
There's nothing that my husband can tell me he wants to do, and I'm going to be like, well, put me first. No,
Yeah.
right. I'm going to, if this is your goal, I'm going to support him. I'm in Texas because of my husband's goal, his purpose.
Do you think most women are like that?
If they want something out, what they have, you gonna have that. That's the only way it's gonna work.
So and I'm about to let you answer this, but just looking around with what you see today, are women like that generally speaking? I mean, because it sounds nice what you're saying, but is that the reality?
I honestly feel like people have their own intentions. Okay, they can either be here for you genuinely or want something from you. So if they see you like, my husband's a master barber, he's a catching everybody out, right? If he was to move and do his thing somewhere else, and I'm sure I was the selfish type, and I'll move with him, most likely a lot of women feel like, okay, he got it, I'm gonna move because that's where they money. Some women is like that, versus, oh babe, come on, let's do this together. Okay, you want to do this? Well, let me save up some money and put this with this. It has to be common. If not, it will never work. That's Mr. Darlene. That's like you starting a business and your husband, your whole family behind you, have no support, but you have a husband. That's like you doing everything in your power to make sure your home is safe, but yet your home is right. What am I doing this for?
And I can tap on that because in the mix of me having a baby, my husband had been on his job for 16 years, but he's always wanted to be a coach. It was a decision. He come home and he's like, what do you think? I know this been his passion.
Yes.
But he's had a career that he's been on the job for 16 years. So we finna take a hit on pay. Some things finna change in our lives just for you to pursue your dream. I was like, okay, let's go for it. I put my business, and still my business I ain't just pumped it up to where I could do what I want to do or make a whole lot, be a master stylist, because his dream is a little bit bigger than mine. And I said that I put my dream on hold, but his dream is bigger than mine, that what I want to do, if he get this, it gonna come. My husband coaching for 10 years. I've not yet missed a game. They play 30-something games a year during the season? I'm there. I'm talking about everybody knows from the last 10 years, they know the refs, everybody, I'm there. I don't have to be there. That's his job. He ain't coming here and sit and watch me flat out, no how. He ain't doing it. You ain't never seen him step foot in her
Matter of
house.
fact, he come to that front and
Pick up back, and that's it.
That's it.
But I seen his dream being bigger than I could ever dream. Because I know that's gonna provide for us. That's gonna be a good thing. It's gonna, whatever I wanna do is gonna tear off of it. So I gotta support him. Not that I have to. Cause he can, like I said, that's his job. He can go do that on his own. I don't have to never go to a game. He's still gonna get paid the same way. But the passion that he has for it, he knows that I'm behind him, makes him go out and
Do
get
it hard.
He go hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, you've changed the program. I've watched how you work with kids. First, I didn't buy in. I was like, we got a new baby at home. But he like, well, I gotta go do this for this kid. You know, the mama's calling. My son, can you help me? Cause ain't no daddy at home. So that, like you said, he's fathering 12 kids every year. 12. We have 12 different boys every year. First, I'm like, forget them. You got a kid at home. But I had to understand what his purpose was or why he was doing that.
Right.
Because he had helped so many kids. Now I see the feedback. They come back and they like, man, I'm glad you told me to do this. I'm glad you led me here and glad you stayed on my back because now I'm successful. The one, and you know, because only some of them get it. All 12 ain't gonna get it.
Right.
But when he come home and he fussing and mad and I have to hear that. He don't give that to them. I have to hear that. But if I say, I don't want to hear that, keep that as your job. Where do he release it at? How is that gonna help me get to where I want to be if he ain't happy? Because he got to find another job. He got to look for something else. Now we're in another bind. But if I'm supporting him and whatever he got going on, everything that I want gonna come to me. I mean, that's just me.